In today's episode, I'm going to hit you with a question that I want you to think long and hard about. There are only 850,000 podcasts in the world, so why doesn't your fucking Microgym have one? If you have one already, great. If you don't worry, because I'm going to be walking you through step by step this untapped client acquisition play and how to take that podcast from concept to creditable. This, my friends, is episode 9 of the What the Fuck Gym Talk Show. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you're doing well. No whiskey today. Instead, messy. Instead, we're going to be sipping on a s'mores blonde ale from Divine Barrel here in Charlotte, North Carolina. You know what the hardest part about drinking this beer is? And yes, besides having to tell my dad I'm gay or whatever the fuck you would say in the comments, it's that it's fucking freezing in here. Can you see my nipples through this thing? Or just the fucking beer I spilled all over me? It is fucking freezing. All right, here we go, kids. Let's get that inaugural sip. That is fucking delicious. All right, so what I want to jam on today? Podcasting. I've made a lot of content on this in the past, but today we're going to deep dive because when I talk to a business owner and I ask them, why haven't you created a podcast yet? These are the standard excuses I get. I don't have the time, or I don't know how. And these excuses are, complete fucking layups for me. Because the time is there if you want it to be. If it's a priority to you, you will make the time. And YouTube videos like this one fucking exist. So case closed, argument done. Let's move on to the next series of excuses I typically receive, which albeit I have a little bit more respect for. Because at least they come from a place where the business owner is throwing the idea of having a podcast around in their head. And the first one is typically this. What would I talk about? It's simple. You'll talk about what you fucking know. You know fitness, you know nutrition, you know people, you know active lifestyle, and you know your city. That city thing I'll break down into further detail here in a little bit, but let's move on. The next excuse? Who would want to listen to this? First off, your members. And as you know, the more your members are influenced by your brand or engage with your brand outside of the actual time they spend receiving your fitness service, the better. Next, your friends, family, acquaintances, these are people that'll easily dive into your podcast out of the pure curiosity as to what you're creating. They're the same people that fucking double tap and like photos of your overrated kids on social media. So yeah, they'll probably listen to you yammering on for 10 minutes about a topic just to see what you're up to. And finally, with this strategy, as I'll deeply lay it out for you guys later on in this episode, you'll be able to reach an entire network of local leads who, at the very least, if they don't become an immediate customer, will be aware of your brand's presence and what you stand for. Now, how about this excuse? But Stu, there's already so many podcasts out there. Why would I even bother creating one now? Did you not hear the first part, fuckface? Do you realize there are only 850,000 podcasts in the world? 850,000, that's it. In comparison, there are over 27 million Instagram accounts. Yet, yeah, no, that's way off, like way fucking off. It's actually 1 billion. There's 1 billion Instagram accounts, but even more so to my point, but it's 1 billion. Yet I see you putting in effort to post there every single day for your business. When I started this channel, there were over 31 million YouTube channels. 31 million. I didn't take a look at that number and say, oh, what's the point? No one's ever going to find my shit. Look, you're watching this thing right now. Stop using saturation as a bullshit excuse as to why you can't get started with something. Because seriously, why wouldn't you get into podcasting? It has the exact same mission as your website, as your Facebook page, and your Instagram business account. And that's to tell your story and demonstrate how you can help other people with a very specific problem. And guys, please realize, podcasting is a very early frontier for now. All right, so assuming you're still with me on this, right? You haven't, turned this shit off? I'm going to walk you through the complete content strategy for your Microgyms podcast and even show you a couple different gear setups, ranging everywhere from being broke as fuck all the way to a rich as fuck budget. I'm rich, bitch! But let's start with the content strategy. You're going to be publishing a podcast every single week. And this is crucial for consistency. You want to develop a recurring audience that has faith that you're going to continue to upload on a set schedule. Now, shit happens, things get in the way, so I recommend you record and create the first 5 episodes ahead of time. That way they're there in your pipeline, so that as the weeks go on and things pop up on your schedule and you don't get a chance to record, you've got it covered because you have a little bit of cush. Within your podcast, you're going to have 3 unique styles so that you can keep it fresh. The first and easiest to create is going to be one that centers around conversations with your coaching staff, where you're going to be discussing various topics of fitness, nutrition, active lifestyle, and again, your city. The last part, the city part, is crucial to this strategy because nobody wants to hear a bunch of fitness nerds talk about working out and dieting over and over on repeat. It's just boring. It's not going to punch the way you want it to. You won't be able to create the kind of influence you could if you talk about things that are also trending relative to the time now and involve other aspects of people's life outside of that 1 hour a day where they come and sweat all over your floor. We want this podcast to make your brand hyper-locally relevant. So you're going to pair these fitness topics and conversations with the coaches with local happenings in your city, social events, and relevant trending topics that are being talked about by people who live, work, and play in your town. Now, going back to these coaching conversations, the sky's the limit, but here's an idea. Maybe you and a couple of your coaches are going to talk about myths surrounding strength training. And then you're going to go ahead and pepper in that brand new bar and restaurant that opened up down the street and what your favorite cocktails were when you and the coaches went and checked it out for the first time. Another episode idea might be where you guys sit down and jam on how to crush awesome, delicious food during the holidays without completely sacrificing your gains and falling off the wagon. You might also parlay that episode with, like a local 5K turkey trot that maybe you and some other members are participating in. And you can talk about how much fun it was and you're looking forward to doing it next year and getting more of the gym involved. Just bring the city element into your podcast. It's going to make all the fitness talk way more palatable. Now, the next style of podcast you're going to be doing will be interviews with your current members. Pick members that have stories to tell and infectious personalities. If Sally sounds like a raspy 40-year-old chain smoker, probably shouldn't have her on the podcast. When you bring them in for this interview, I want you to focus on getting to know them at a deeper, more personal level than you've ever been able to achieve during the 60 minutes that they're visiting the gym or that before and after chit chat or getting to know them at a social event that you have. Learn about their lives, their profession, how they ended up doing it. Learn about their family. Learn about the things they do outside the gym. And again, tie in the city. Why do they love living here or hate living here? What are their favorite parts about being a resident in that city? And maybe how did being in that city help them come to find your business in the first place? And guess what? Odds are they've never been interviewed on a podcast before. So this is going to be a moment of mini fame for them. They're going to tell their friends, family, coworkers about it, and they'll probably share it on social once you release it. And guess what? Your audience will grow. And here's a pro tip. Make sure you mention people that are in their ecosystem. Talk about their husband, their wife, their roommate, their friends. Because once they get done with the podcast, they're going to go to those individuals and say, hey, I was on my gym's podcast and I talked about you. And guess what that person's going to do? They're going to tune the fuck in because they're going to want to hear what that individual had to say. And so on it goes as your podcast slowly grows its audience. Finally, you're going to interview other local small businesses in your town. You belong to a niche group of human beings who've decided to pursue their dreams by creating their own business. And those stories, regardless of whether you like the business or not, are always captivating. Remember, these businesses don't have to be adjacent to the fitness industry. And in fact, I highly recommend they vary all over the spectrum so that you get a good dose of different businesses and really expand your network of local business owners that you know professionally. This B2B play with the podcast is going to drastically increase your network and allow you to create more colleagues over various industries in your town than you ever would have imagined. My Microgym, Urban Movement, started the hashtag #SweatLocalCLT podcast almost a year ago. It's allowed us to network with coffee shops who we now have standing monthly events to do pop-up workouts outside their business. We've collabed with restaurant, cafe, and bar owners to put on off-site functions for our members. And we've partnered with other local service-based businesses in our city to create reciprocal marketing efforts that cost us next to nothing to get fresh, warm leads every month. Every microgym owner that I personally coach through creating a content strategy through podcasting, they're always a little hesitant at first. Just a little bit like, I don't know. I don't like to put myself out there. I'm a little, I don't know, Stu. But give it 6 to 9 months, And everyone comes back with the exact same response. Why the fuck did I not do this earlier? It's simple, guys. It is a fucking lead magnet and a megaphone for your brand. The referrals and the leads that I'm talking about, they start coming your way because now a ton of other individuals know you and your brand on a personal level. You're not just that gym down the street on the corner next to the ShopRite. You've interviewed them, you've talked about them, you've taken an interest in them selflessly for a very selfish endeavor, but you took the time to tell their story and share it with other people. That is going to create a level of brand awareness that no marketing, Facebook ads, door-to-door, any kind of guerrilla plays will have the same reach and impact like podcasting will. They may not know everything about your fitness service. Hell, they might not ever become a customer of your fitness service, but they know you on a very personal level now. And as we all know in business, most times that's good enough. Now let's get into the gear side of creating a podcast. First, you're going to host your podcast for free on Anchor.fm. Here's where you'll upload your podcast, and Anchor will then distribute to virtually everywhere podcasts are available. Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, everywhere. You can use their desktop site or mobile app to do all of your recording, editing, and distributing. Next, you're going to need some type of a microphone so it doesn't sound like you're recording this thing in the bottom of a fucking cave. And even on a busted budget, I recommend you get one of these giant dick-like looking microphones, a USB mic from a company called Yeti. These things are great. They range anywhere in different models and styles from $60 to about $170. These are great when you have multiple people because you can just go ahead and boom, set it right down in the middle, and there's different settings so it'll record my voice and your voice or anyone else's in the group without it sounding like we're all talking in the middle of an empty hallway. Now, if you want a mic that's not, as much BBC, I recommend a Audio Technica headset mic, which is exactly what I'm rocking right now. You're going to have to splurge a little bit more money on these. These are around $200 a piece, but I like them. They're easy to set up, portable, and I don't have to worry about is my mouth close to the mic or not. Wherever my fucking mouth goes, the mic goes with me. Additionally, with a headset mic, I would recommend a Zoom H6 portable recorder. At this stage, the H6 would replace your laptop as the recording device, allowing you to throw it in a backpack, travel around, and record people pretty much anywhere you want to. The Zoom H6 comes in right around $330. I've had one for over 3 years, and it works flawlessly even to this day. Now, when you're really ready to double down on your podcast, I highly recommend the Rodecaster Pro. It's a complete podcast production studio that simplifies the technical aspects while still delivering superb audio quality. They allow you to edit mic levels, add in sound effects and pre-made jingles, connect to cell phones and Bluetooth devices, and instantly convert your episodes over to your computer or upload to Anchor. Now, the price tag is a bit higher at $600 a piece just for the unit, but I've been using it for several months now, and it is by far one of the best pieces of content creation hardware I've ever purchased. So there it is. Everything you need to know to get a podcast up and running for your microgym. And if you're really interested in creating a deeper content strategy for a podcast, hit me up and we can definitely create a full game plan so that your microgym's podcast starts off as this small time fun thing for your members, but eventually turns into a fucking powerhouse, driving new leads through the door who are familiar with your brand and your mission, and increasing your company's hyper-local awareness through a medium that has infinite reach. Guys, thank you for watching. I hope this has been helpful in getting your podcast up and going. I'm going to go back to drinking my Pussy S'mores beer now. And until I see you in the next episode, have a great fucking day.